What's good with it, y'all? Y'all know what it is, man. We in the building talking about Derek Carr going to New Orleans. I don't know if he's looking for some gumbo. I don't know if he's looking for some Mardi Gras time. But at the end of the day, he's going out there to talk to the Saints because they set it to trade compensation between our teams and them. So we got to talk about the fact that he may be going out of town this week, man. Let's get into it. Make sure to hit that like button, hit the sub button. Y'all know what it is, man. Let's get into this. The devil's in the details, and we got to start digging into it because the Saints is the team that we're looking at, and they're set up for a quarterback to go in there and really push them for their division. Because when you look around, they got the Falcons, they got the Bucks, they got the Panthers, and the Bucks. We know Tom Brady just retired, so they're looking for a quarterback. The Panthers may trade up or may be able to draft one in this draft. And what are the Falcons doing? We don't know. They had the Mariota experience. Now they got Desmond Ridder sitting on the sidelines. So that division is completely wide open. And it looks like the Saints are making the move to move in on a quarterback first out of all of those teams that are quarterback needy and try to trade for Derek Carr. Now, just last week, we were just talking about how Ian Rappaport, we're talking about Adam Schefter, was saying that the Raiders are not going to let Derek Carr speak to teams unless they agreed on trade compensation. We've seen it now. The Saints agreed on trade compensation, and the number one question that's being asked is, what is that trade comp? What is it? Because the Saints are under the cap $60 million. If you go on over the cap, you'll see that they are over the cap $60 million, or would it be under? It could be over the cap. Over the cap $60 million. So if you're over the cap $60 million, how are you going to be able to trade for a quarterback that's going to cost you $30, $40 million per season with the cap hit? And they don't have many players they could cut. They really don't. I went and looked at their roster. I went and looked at the cap. There's not a lot of players that they could cut to save money. Now, one player is a defensive player, and it's the D tackle, David Amenyata. I believe that's his name, something like that. I believe they saved $10 million if they trade or cut him, obviously, prior to June. And I don't know if we're going to trade for him. I wouldn't really want to bring him in because he's not really that dominant. He's not what we need. We don't need a veteran 30-plus-year-old defensive tackle for Derek Carr, and we don't need to take on his cap hit. So I don't know if that's going to be a player that we're going to pick up. And I've been hearing a lot about Marshawn Lattimore. Now, for me, I would love to be able to maneuver something to where maybe it was Derek Carr, a draft pick like a third, and then Marshawn Lattimore and their late first that they got from the Broncos, I believe. I would love to do a trade like that. I think this is what's going to end up happening, is that it's going to be more than one piece. We're going to probably send Carr and a pick, Carr and maybe another player, in my opinion, and we're going to be able to pick up their first-round pick and something else. I don't know if we just go out there and trade him straight up for like a third to the Saints or anything like that, or send him and a first-round pick and then pay for his cap. I don't know if that's going to be – let me know in the comments what you guys think is going to be the trade compensation, what the Saints agreed upon, and what the Raiders are really looking for in Derek Carr. I think it's going to be a first-round pick. I believe it could be straight up that first-round pick. We pay some of Derek Carr's cap, and they restructure it as well, and we move on from there. And it works out for both sides. Derek Carr goes to the Saints, and he has a plethora of weapons. You have a young wide receiver in Chris Olave. That was a top-tier receiver in last year's draft. They still have a Thomas and a Landry over there, I believe. And then you talk about Alvin Kamara. He'd be going from a star running back in Jacobs to another top 10 running back in Alvin Kamara, who's great out of the backfield catching the football, who's great running the football, and it's a great outlet for Derek Carr to be able to go over there and get some quick rapport. Then you talk about the other side of the ball. They have a good defense. Demario Davis, we were talking about their corner, and Marshawn Lattimore. They have some young guys over there that are performing well at the linebacker spot. Guys like Payne Turner as well on the defensive line. So they have some pieces on the defense, and they've always had a better looking defense, and the Raiders always had. So for Derek Carr, it works for them. He's going to the NFC in a bad division to where he would be able to be wide open. There is no Patrick Mahomes. And in our case, we'd get a first-round pick. Now, could you imagine having the 7th overall pick and then just later have the 29th overall pick? I believe with those two picks, if we wanted to get our guy, our quarterback, we'd be able to get C.J. Stroud, in my opinion, with those picks if we wanted to move up and trade for him. And that could necessarily be the case if we go that route. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers. If you ain't check out my last video, go check it out. I thought it would be some nonsense to go pay for Rodgers. And just thinking about it, right? We just got done talking about the fact that if we traded Carr to the Saints, we may have to eat some of his cap in order to get him off, right? And if that's the case, how are we going to pay him and then also bring in Rodgers, give away draft picks for Rodgers and pay him? So we'd be paying two quarterbacks a premium for a premium, right? We'd be paying for Rodgers at a premium. Not only that, we gave up picks. So I don't know how this is all going to work out. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know that in the comments, man. I am excited either way. Either way, what happens, I'm excited. I hope we figure something out and Dave Ziegler makes a play. And honestly, I hope he finesses the Saints. They're going to get a good quarterback that's going to work for them, I believe. But at the end of the day, I hope we can finesse it somehow, get a first-round pick like that 29 and get Marshawn Lattimore and maybe pay for a little bit of Derek Carr's cap just to, sweeten up the deal. I would love that to happen. That would be probably the best outcome in my opinion. But like I said, y'all let me know. Don't forget to check out Redemption Brand, y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Check out the gear, man. Let me see if I can get this to focus again. Hit that like button, hit the sub button if you want some more videos like this. Until next time, ready to tape.